I am at the old Waverly Cemetery in New Waverly, Texas, and today we're going to do a walkthrough of the cemetery, check out some of the old tombs, try to read some of the scripture on them, and just explore and see what there is to offer. Also, there's a plaque behind me. We'll read that because I believe it talks about the cemetery. With that being said, let's go check out the cemetery. The cemetery is situated on the land originally purchased in 1853 by Mary M. Lewis, James E. Scott, I guess that must be his wife Lorna A. Scott, and Millie D. Scott. The first recorded burial was that of John Andrew Jackson, 1822 to 1855, pioneer settler of Waverly. 3 gravestones date 1852 indicate the regiments rather than early burials. Hamlin F. Lewis, John Elliott Scott, and Robert Lindsay Scott left Alabama for Texas, but fell victim to cholera in 1852, if I'm saying that right, and were buried along the way. Relatives of the men had their remains placed in this site in 1859. In 1857, Waverly Institute purchased 200 acres of land, which included the burial grounds through the effort of Henry M. Elmore, 1816 to 1879. President of Waverly Institution Board of Trustees. 12 acres were officially set aside for cemetery use in 1873. The town of Waverly was a cultured, educational, and religious center before the Civil War. When New Waverly was founded on the railroad in the 1880s, Waverly declined, but its cemetery remained in use. The burial grounds has always been associated with the pioneer settlers of Waverly. In 1965, descendants of the settlers formed a cemetery associated to maintain the site. Looks like these are the 2 tallest obelisk, I guess you call them, in the cemetery that I see. Really tall. It says John Hill, born January, I'm guessing that's 1st, 1807. Died June 5th, 1879. The scripture says, "Well done, good and faithful," I think, servant. I can't read that. You might be able to read it better than I can on the camera. I can't read something, the joy of something land, joy of the land, maybe. At the bottom it says Hill. Yeah, that is a pretty big monument. Let's see what this one says. This one is actually shorter than the other. Before we begin to read it, you may not be able to tell from this distance, but this one is shorter than this one. This one's taller. I bet if I get back, you can actually see a difference. There you go. To the memory of Sarah, wife of John Hill, which is that guy. I wonder if it's taller because it's the man. I don't know. Just let me know in the comments what the difference is, because I don't really know. She was born February 6, 15 or 1875? One of the two. Died, I think this is August 2nd, 1866. Yeah, so 1815. Yeah, I can't read this. Yeah, through something. I don't know. I'll hold it up for a minute to see if you can figure out what it's saying, because I cannot read like any of that. If you clean the stone, you'd probably be able to read it a little bit better, but let me know in the comments if you can read this and what it says. I don't know if it's me or what, but I like coming to these old cemeteries, taking my time, reading the headstones, seeing the people who were here before me and you. Oh, we're coming up to a massive oak tree with a lot of Spanish moss. Looks kind of creepy. I mean, hey, I'm in a cemetery. To be honest, this actually fits the weather right now because it's cloudy at the moment. And it makes this look eerie. And this, like I said, is Spanish moss. Look at this headstone. It's like it's all covered in whatever that stuff is called. H.M. Budd, 1879, all the way to 1944. And if you think about it, 1944 really wasn't that long ago. Must be his wife, Anne, 1878, all the way to 1970. Starting to rain. So here lies Mary Elizabeth. I'm not going to even try to pronounce it because I can't read all that. It might be clear on camera, like I said. Of A.J. Thompson. No idea what that symbol says, nor what does this say. This is of John and what is that, an I or an L? It's like an L, I think, or an I. You let me know. Tab B. She was born something M-O-O-K, is that what that says? I'm going to repeat it again. Like I said, let me know what this says. Is that an O or is that an E? Something Co. V.A. Must be Virginia. Guess that's December 10th. A.D. 1817. Another symbol. Died March 13, A.D. 1860. Oh, after death, I believe, has it listed twice, A.D. Okay, that's the first time I pretty much have seen something that says AD. What do we got here? John Tab, I'm guessing, Thomason, born March 10th, 1854, died October 1901. Thompson. Let's go check out these three straight in front of me. Let's start this way. Ooh, that's a long scripture. He was a son of James E. and Molly D. Scott. Samuel Coleman Scott. And was born on the 23rd of March, AD. There's the AD again. 1841, and died on the 21st of February 1859. He was a common, no, I can see the C. Oh, he was in, what does this say? Something with the Methodists? Is that Methodist? I'm debating if I even want to read this to you. Some of this you just can't read. Something Church South. Is that and? What I'll do is I'll slowly keep it on screen for a quick second. You can also pause the video to read what this says, because I'm struggling with this tombstone. Like I said, it's just hard to read some of the stuff. But if you want to just pause the video real quickly, try to read what you can, and then we'll just go from there. Alright, you ready? Let's go check out the other two next door to him. In memory of John Elliott Scott. This one I can read partly. He was born a son of James E. and Millie D. Scott, and was born on the 17th, is that right? 17th of October, AD, 1865, 1835. I can't read it. And died while on the way, what is that? From Alabama to his home in Texas on the yeah, I think you can't read that part of the state of November 1852. You can pause the video also if you want to read this too. And let's move on to the third tomb. It's another one of the Scott families, Nellie. She was born in Alabama. January 1818. I can read that clearly. Oh, it's a lot clearer on screen than it is on with my eyes. And was, what is that? United with James E. Scottman, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to read this with my bare eyes, but when you look at it on camera, you can see it a lot better. It's kind of pointless of me to make a video when you can't read all this stuff on the scripture or on the stone. Alright, you can pause the video again if you want to read it. Let's move on, shall we? Alright, well, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this episode, where we just walk around, look at old tombs, try to read what I can from the scriptures on the tombs. Maybe you can read them better than I can, because when you see them without the camera, it makes it a little bit harder to read what it's trying to say. But like I said, if you watched it on video, you might be able to see it a little bit better than I can. Anyways, if you want to get in contact with me, my socials are in the video description and down below, along with my other videos and whatever else I have to offer on my channel. Subscribe, like. I'll see you in the next one.